Welcome to the lecture series Understanding Dance for Beginners and Intermediates. Each lecture is around 10 minutes, including some dancing, some lecturing, sometimes homework. And at the end of each video, you will find a list with recommendations for further reading and further watching. So there's actually no way to escape an increased understanding of dance, I promise. My name is Susanne Martin, I'm a dancer and dance researcher, and with me in the room are Gabriele Reuter, improviser, choreographer, facilitator, dance teacher, and we have Hui-Chun, cellist, and improvising performer. And behind the camera, the video artist and dance documenter, Andrea Keiz. Would you show yourself? Yeah, almost, that was it. Okay, let's go. The first lecture is about kinesthetic empathy. There are some typical obstacles for beginners when watching dance. You often ask yourself, what do they want to tell me? What does it mean? What was written in the program notes? Can't they write less cryptic program notes? So I suggest a different way of engaging with dance for today, and that is less about meaning and less about interpretation. And I would say dance is a chance to connect to somebody else's bodiness through my own bodiness. And we can call that kinesthetic empathy, kinesthesia as the sense of yourself, a sense of your own bodily organization, and empathy or Einfühlung as your ability to feel what somebody else is feeling. So I have a warm-up for your kinesthetic empathy. We can do it all together. And would you do that with me? So it starts, stand up, if you can stand up. Otherwise you can also do it seated. And we start touching ourselves. We start from our toes, and then we run our hands up the body, over the front, up the face, over the head, down the other side if we can. And we can do it one more time, just kind of, it's pretty obvious. It's about realizing that you do have a body also when you watch other bodies. Very good. Part 2 of the warm-up is about recognizing the mobility of your spine, because when you watch dance, you still also have a mobile spine. You can move your head on top of your spine, you can go in every direction, sensitizing yourself a bit to your own mobility. And then, now comes the task. In a moment we will start dancing, and when we dance, take the first minute or so to focus on the spine of the dancer and empathize with your little movements to the dance of the dancing spine. I show you, okay? So if I'm now the dancer and I do maybe bigger movements and you two are the empathetic audience, you have these little empathetic spine movements trying to follow my body a little bit. And then, but really do it just in the beginning, and as soon as you get stressed out from this narrow focus or bored by it, then drop the movement exercise and just keep watching, but see what it does to you. See if something still resonates in your body of the exercise when you keep just watching the dance. Yeah? Let's do it like this. Okay? I would have loved to see your empathetic spines. Well, maybe I will one day. Anyway, kinesthetic empathy needs practice. So here's your homework. You can do: sit in a park, empathize with your spine to the people that pass by, and maybe dogs, maybe the trees. And or, next time you go to a performance, you do the exercise, but then rather do it seated than standing up. It's nicer for the other people. And or, there's a third version. Yes, just watch our little dancing part again and choose another body part to empathize with. Most important is enjoy what you do. Welcome to the lecture series Understanding Dance for Beginners and Intermediates. Each lecture is around 10 minutes, including some dancing, some lecturing, sometimes homework. And at the end of each video, you will find a list with recommendations for further reading and further watching. So there's actually no way to escape an increased understanding of dance, I promise. My name is Susanne Martin, I'm a dancer and dance researcher, and with me in the room are Gabriele Reuter, improviser, choreographer, facilitator, dance teacher, and we have Lin Hui-Chun, cellist, and improvising performer. And behind the camera, the video artist and dance documenter, Andrea Keiz. Would you show yourself? Yeah, almost, that was it. Okay, let's go. This lecture is called Monte Verita Part 1, and it is about recognition. It's a 10-minute excursion into dance history and the question of social and cultural recognition. So we will not dance and you will not dance. And if you're not interested now in historical backstories and some critical reflection, then I would say skip this lecture and go directly to Monte Verita Part 2. Okay, you're still here. Back in 1916, I was lucky to spend a summer on the Monte Verita in Switzerland. Far away from the war, in beautiful nature, Monte Verita was a life reform community engaging in vegetarian diets, spirituality, free artistic expression, nudism, Jute statt Plastik, alternative medicine, and pacifism. And there I met Lin's grandmother Pen, and we started to work together and to perform down in Zurich in a weekly performance night at the Cabaret Voltaire. But about that I will tell you in Monte Verita Part 2. For now, let's stay up the mountain. These international summer dance events on the Monte Verita were really fundamental for the development of European modern dance. The two most famous dancers connected to this era are Rudolf Laban and Mary Wickman. Rudolf had two big passions. One was to develop a notation system for dance, and the other were big movement choirs, very organized, a lot of sameness, a lot of symmetry. So in result, I would say he had a leaning to very simple movements, because they were easy to notate and also easy to make a lot of people look the same. Let me show you. Here, this is Rudolf with his students, and here's a typical movement choir. And then I have also Here this is an example of the notation system, but it goes kind of from up to down. And then here, and here how people learn the notation system. And then here this is Mary. Mary in the center with her dance group, and here she is in this Hexentanz solo. Mary, she was always very deep and very serious, and she went quite far into mysticism and symbolism and Schicksal. Now, how these early modern dancers' ideas flirted with upcoming fascism, that's another lecture that we do another time. Okay, now, for the beginners between you, I try to be very clear. It isn't by chance or due to your very personal Bildungslücke that you don't know any famous dancer from the past or from now. Dance as a body-based and feminized practice gets traditionally much less recognition than any other art form. Accordingly, for you as an individual, it is a much bigger effort to feed your little flame of dance interest. So for the intermediates, congratulations that you know Mary Wigman and Rudolf Laban. But be aware, there are no singular geniuses and inventors, not in dance, not in the arts, and not in any other field. There's always a whole field of practice and knowledge and people around feeding into similar ideas. Who of them gets more recognition and who gets less, and why? That's a complex and very interesting question that needs critical inquiry. You can see it very easily in these history books. Here, this book is full and full of names that you have never heard of. And you actually don't know if you would consider Mary Wigman to be a more interesting artist than any of her contemporaries, because you don't know them, because they are not as well documented. For example, what about our performance, Pen and Me, at the Cabaret Voltaire? We are not even mentioned once in this book, and we are not the only ones. So, homework for the beginners. Do a short written self-reflection. Take 20 minutes, you can put an alarm clock. Remember and write down moments from your childhood or youth or from now when your little flame of interest in dance wasn't well received or even hindered by others. In other words, what and who did hold you back from learning something about dance? Can you identify reservations, discomforts you have yourself regarding spending time with practicing or watching dance? And question that. For the intermediates, 20 minutes of internet research. Find program notes of a dance piece you have seen, or look in the internet for a production that you would like to see. And then spend 20 minutes researching the names that are a little bit lower down in the hierarchy. In other words, don't learn more about the choreographer or the most well-known person on stage, but check out the other dancers. They might be interesting artists in their own right. It might happen that they are too busy dancing to have their own website. It might happen that you find their names here and there in productions, but no further information about them. So just dig a bit deeper and get curious about the logics of recognition. Have fun. Welcome to the lecture series Understanding Dance for Beginners and Intermediates. Each lecture is around 10 minutes, including some dancing, some lecturing, sometimes homework. And at the end of each video, you will find a list with recommendations for further reading and further watching. So there's actually no way to escape an increased understanding of dance, I promise. My name is Susanne Martin, I'm a dancer and dance researcher, and with me in the room are Gabriele Reuter, improviser, choreographer, facilitator, dance teacher, and we have Hui-Chun, cellist, and improvising performer. And behind the camera, the video artist and dance documenter Andrea Keiz. Would you show yourself? Yeah, almost, that was it. Okay, let's go. This is the lecture Monte Verita Part 2, and it is about dance and music. In Monte Verita Part 1, I told you about how I spent the summer of 1916 on Monte Verita in Switzerland and how I met these famous dance artists Rudolf Laban and Mary Wickman. But the main event for me was my artistic collaboration with Lin's grandmother, Pen, a wonderful, very adventurous musician. And Pen had come from Taiwan to study German classical music, and we started to work together. After a month of intensive rehearsal, we went downhill to Zurich and performed with the Dadaists at the Cabaret Voltaire. And as I told you in the previous lecture, we didn't really receive much recognition for that. And I think one of the reasons that we never landed a mainstream success was probably the complicated name we gave to our practice. We called it the Hermeneutic Dance Music Circle, Hui-Chuns und Martins Hermeneutischer Tanz Musikzirkel. Guided by the idea of the hermeneutic circle, we always performed in 3 parts. First, Pen would play a piece of music and I would interpret it spontaneously through my dance. Next round, Pen would interpret a choreography of mine. And finally, we would simultaneously interpret each other in what we called the fusion of horizons in a completely emergent, open duet situation. And I think what we did there 100 years ago, and it was totally avant-garde then, it is still helpful to understand something about music and dance today. So for now, and for the beginners, we will do only the first part. Lin will play an original composition of her grandmother, and Gabriele and me, we will both respond to her music. So each of us might highlight a different aspect of that music, but both of our interpretations can actually claim their own hermeneutic truth. That sounds complicated. So here's an exercise to help. Don't work your eyes and your ears too hard. Your task is to enjoy the spontaneous moments of convergence or divergence of our 2 interpretations of the same music. Yeah? And I have a warm-up for this. So it goes like this. We can do it right away all together. I will keep speaking, okay? So go. Close your eyes and then put your fingers on top of your eyelids and just enjoy the darkness, maybe the warmth of your fingers, a little bit of weight, and let your eyes rest in your head. And then keep your eyes closed and move your fingers to your ears and give your ears a little massage. The nice thing is that you feel your massage, but you also hear your massage. Your eyes are still closed. You get soft in your head and face, and then you slowly let go of your hands. Before you open your eyes, just remember what your task is. Your task is to just enjoy convergences and divergences between our two interpretations of one music. And now, very softly open your eyes. What we did right now, this is just one way of relating dance to music, music to dance, and this is by now probably a rather old-fashioned one. And I know that both of you are also working on that relationship. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Okay, so I can start. In 2015, I made a piece with a composer that works with electronic music. And we looked in detail at how sound works from the physics perspective. And what we found out is that any sound, the beginning of any sound is movement. Because a sound wave, an acoustic wave, is actually a wave of pressure moving through the air, through the space. So what we did is take a lot of different microphones, some of them very small and very close to my body, recording the sound waves of my movement, the waves that my movement was producing. those recordings, the composer took into his computer, amplified them quite a lot, put lots of layers and effects and all of that, and made a beautiful track of electronic music to play back into the space in real time onto the stage. So then I could, with my amplified body, use my dancing body as like an instrument, playing music with my body into the composition.
Last once I make one project with dancers, and we took a subject like vibrations, and we are finding out this vibration in the sound, less vibration in the movement, less even vibration which is invisible, less vibration in our body, in the blood. And we took this kind of different ideas and definitions in our concept insights, collect this, make transitions, and the end, the result is we make a composition with vibrations.
Welcome to the lecture series Understanding Dance for Beginners and Intermediates. Each lecture is around 10 minutes, including some dancing, some lecturing, sometimes homework. And at the end of each video, you will find a list with recommendations for further reading and further watching. So there's actually no way to escape an increased understanding of dance, I promise. My name is Susanne Martin, I'm a dancer and dance researcher, and with me in the room are Gabriele Reuter, improviser, choreographer, facilitator, dance teacher, and we have Hui-Chun, cellist, and improvising performer. And behind the camera, the video artist and dance documenter, Andrea Keiz. Would you show yourself? Yeah, almost, that was it. Okay, let's go. This lecture is called Dance in Context. It's really easy. Dance is not only a body in movement or several dancing bodies. When you watch dance as a performing arts event, then the moving body is always within a context. And for you as an audience, that does something to you. It is totally different if you watch dance in a live performance or if you see it on screen. Or if you watch dance in a big opera house and you sit on the third balcony in the last row, that is different than if you watch the same dance sitting in the same opera house but in the first row and you have paid 200 euros for your ticket. That does something to you and to how you see the dance. It is different if you see dance in a rehearsal space and you sit on the floor. It is different maybe you enjoy most to see dance in a gallery situation, in an installation where you can freely move around the dance. So we cannot show you the opera version here, but we did our best within this space to show you now some different options, and you can get a taste what different lights and different sound contexts, different musics do to the dancing body or to your watching experience of that dancing body. Okay? Go. Now here comes your homework. Watch the dancing part one more time, but this time watch it on a different device and in a different room. Watch it maybe tonight before sleeping, hiding under your blanket. Or you watch it in your bathtub. I mean, you got the idea. It's now your turn to put your own different context around our context. Got it? Just try. The main idea is enjoy the experience.